So just waiting for everything to get set up and the stream ready to go. And we'll get rid of copy link. Got one viewer already. Welcome to the stream. APPF1 Z stream and we'll go say hi. Just check. Yeah, so just a bit of downtime and we'll get started with the stream. But whoever is in the chat, welcome you two. You're in for a pretty good race tonight, I'm sure. Just waiting for everyone to load into the lobby and we'll get started, and I'll also get started with the intro and everything off the stream. Discord, get everything going. Won't be long now, guys. Sorry for the bit of downtime. Won't be long now. But yeah. So, still I'm pretty sure still got 14 drivers in the lobby there at the moment, so hopefully it won't be too long until we get there. So let me know if the audio is okay, guys. Just like if my mic's too quiet or anything, just let me know in the chat. think we're still waiting for a couple of people to join. I've got one comment already. So look, I'm super quiet. Okay, I'll turn up the mic volume then. Is this any better? It's okay. Just don't want the PlayStation fan too loud. Here we are, right. Right. So with that, I think we'll get started with the intro. So right then, so hey there everyone, and welcome to the APPF1 community. We're here for the Sunday night sprint races here at the Suzuka International Circuit. So a bit of a different format for tonight's race. It's a one-shot quali followed by a 25% sprint race in equal Formula 1 cars. So here at the Suzuka circuit, which is a 18 corner long circuit, about 5.8 kilometers, 3.6 miles, with 18 turns, with 10 to the right and 8 to the left. So definitely is one of the most infamous circuits in the world, obviously with the uphill S's that drivers tend to favour on the wheel. Controller not so much, I've heard from numerous people, but definitely does produce quite good racing. We've got a pretty nice bunched up grid as well, with some good racing for show today. So one shot qualifying, so it all is going to be balls to the wall for this qualifying session. Literally, if you make a mistake or anything, you're going to be standing at the back. So this is their one shot. Do they go, you know, a bit conservative just to get a lap in, or do they go flat out and definitely try and go for pole position? So it's a risk reward definitely with one shot qualifying. So we'll see how our drivers get on today, and then obviously after this we've got reverse grid race at Mexico. So definitely looking good for a good evening of racing for everyone. Obviously Zach, will be taking you along for the ride as well. I hope you do all enjoy the stream, and if you do make sure to leave a like. It is always it's always greatly appreciated. And cheers Bosch for telling making sure everything's all good. Appreciate it, mate. And we've also surpassed 300 subscribers once again, so back up over the 300 mark. So thank you guys for the support as well. I'm looking to definitely get back into YouTube and uploading once again after the Christmas break. But so just while we're waiting for everyone to load in their setups, get the tyre strategies ready, and go for the laps, obviously I've got my trusty cup of tea, PJ Tips. You know, but coming into qualifying then, and looks like we'll go on board with Ted as he leads us across the line, and definitely can with the live feedback to see who's in first. So through turn 1 it is very close. Ted down into 4th place and Sumo up in front, Ballox though, and it looks like it is a very tight field. Gillian going from about, you know, P1 to P13 in a matter of a couple of corners, so looking very close. They've still got a long way around the lap to go for now, and we'll see how it gets on for the remainder of the session. Obviously that only 2 sectors is the remainder of the session, but Ted looking well in P6 as well, looking up the lap. We'll go up in front to Bossy in the Mercedes, if it lets me go up to Bossy in the Mercedes. Oh, Ted up to P4, Lauren back into P4. But Bossy leading the way in the Mercedes, a pretty stonking lap. Let's see what we can get to. I reckon they'll be around the 27 mark, perhaps 28. If they beat that, then that is a pretty astonishing lap time. But coming through very wide there through Spoon. Has he invalidated it? I don't think he has. Very wide though at Spoon. and picking up a bit of gravel. That's going to cost him the provisional P1 position. Balix takes the provisional P1 position, coming in at 130, the flat out left-hander, coming in to the final bus stop chicane, braking around the 100 board, down the gears, engine braking, clipping the first curb, clipping the second curb, a bit of gravel as well. He's got a bit shaky, that could cost him third place. Coming across the line, he's going to fall down to P5, and Balix takes the pole position with a 27.8, 6 tenths clear of the nearest, and his front row lockout with Miriez, who does a 28.4, 28.4, 28.4, 28.5, so very close from P2 to P5, and yeah, very close. So that couple of mistakes through Spoon, and of course through the exit of the bus stop chicane definitely did cost the Mercedes the pole position. But Balix first, Miriel's second, Scott P3, Ted P4, Bossy P5, Palfs doing really well on his fourth race on wheel in P6, Lauren P7, Dabbler P8, Ghost P9, Aces versus Kings in P10. Jamie Morris, cheers for checking out the stream. Aces vs Kings in P10, Vardy P11, Cletus P12, Tier P13, Sumo in P14, and Callum rounding off the grid in P15. So both of these not making the best out of their laps, and definitely looking to make up for it in the race. So we've got 5 people watching. Cheers guys for checking out the stream. Hope you do enjoy. Jamie, I'm doing good, mate. Cheers. Cheers for checking out the stream. Here for the APPF1 community race. So that is your one shot qualifying over. We're going to go into the race now, and Tier doesn't have a Japan setup, so that's probably his deficit explained. But yeah, 25% race then following that one shot qualifying session, and we're going to go straight into the race, led by of course Balix in the McLaren, who looks to be taking a commanding lead off the start. And cheers Jamie, appreciate that, mate, appreciate the support. Just while we wait 20 seconds for the race to get underway. Don't know if we have a formation lap, we might do. If not, though, straight into the action with the cold tyres. Just keep me updated on the audio and everything, guys, because my mic is known to start spazzing out and glitch out. So if it does happen, do just shout at me. And it looks like we are... That's not lights out, surely. No. Is it straight to race? No, it is straight to race. It's lights out and away we go then. And Balix gets a decent start. There's a spinner of the Haas. He's taking the Mercedes with him. Coming into turn 1, then Balix leads the way, followed by Mirielez and Scott, who the top 3 stay stationed. Down the inside goes Ted though, and is making just a defensive manoeuvre. Back there's another spinner, and but there's another spinner. Further back is a Haas, a McLaren and a Mercedes, so not the best start for them. Further back though, looks like everyone's just managed to get in through cleanly. Dabbler and Vardy having a bit of a tussle coming through Dunlop. Coming through Dunlop and into the first of Degner's not really an overtaking manoeuvre through the first sector of the McLaren. Further back, Callum has spun as well again, and very big carnage, of course, through this first lap then. There's a Ferrari, an Alfa Romeo, and Palfs again have spun through Dunlop, so not the start they were hoping for. Aces and Kings making the move into P6, and on the defence from the AlphaTauri, goes defensive into Spoon. The AlphaTauri finds a space on the inside, he's going to dart down the inside. It's going to be a tricky move to make because of the speed and nature of the Spoon curve, and he's going to have to hold station for the moment, perhaps try and use overtake to get through on his competitor, and hopefully get up into that P5. He's got only 13 laps of the Suzuka circuit to do it. The racing points going side by side into 130R. He's going to back out of that one and think better of it, cutting the track. He's going to be left vulnerable to Dabbler in the Haas. They're going to be 3 wide. The Reynolds all over the dirt and the gravel, and is Dabbler going to soar around the outside? It looks like he's made the move on the racing point. He's been left slow, and the Renault's going to take an opportunistic move and dart down the inside. So Vardy completely mugged off there and down into P10, 1.5 seconds in front of the nearest competitor. And Vardy is well looking to try and get back in front of the Renault. Further up, Balix has taken a commanding lead, about 9 tenths now is the gap. Just trying to reach out that 1 second, trying to reach out that 1 second range. Obviously for DRS, once you get within that 1 second after 3 laps, you get the DRS deployment, which opens up the rear wing to give you an extra. And all Bossy with a massive load of understeer there and running wide at Dunlop. Very easy mistake to make. He's going to be off the race line and vulnerable. He's lost 2 positions already. He's 1 ride as well due to the off nature corner of the Degnal 1. He's not managed to get the power down. He's been left and eaten alive by everyone. He's going to be coming down the grid, looking to make some moves back though as he's on the charge, looking to the outside of Sumo. He's not quite going to be able to get the move stuck. He's going to be vulnerable to the Racing Point coming out the corner then for P10. The Racing Point looking to make some moves. Bossy with a couple of mistakes then, and that has cost him dearly. He's been eaten alive by the rest of the field. He's having to defend from the Racing Point. It looks like he's going to be able to do that for now though, and holding station for the time being. He's on the back of the Renault looking to make the move as well, looking to the inside for 130R, squeezing his way through, and the predicted pit stop strategy, soft medium or soft to hard, powered by AD or US, but coming into 130R, down the inside he goes, very difficult to make, side by side. Sumo holding on brilliantly around the outside and coming into the bus stop chicane, defending that P8 position like his life depends on it. The Racing Point getting involved as well, DRS enabled as we come onto lap 3. Scott on the back of the Williams for P2 position. He goes to the inside, comes back to the outside to take the race line for T1 and 2. Very long swooping corners and very nice to take once you hook them up. Day's been really good, Jamie. Cheers, mate. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Miriles in the Williams, and Scott getting a massive load of understeer in the dirty air, not getting the run he wanted. He's going to be left vulnerable to Ted, who's making the most of this mistake, capitalising on it as well through the S's. The Red Bull then looking to make the most of this mistake, getting onto the podium position, but he's got a mass load of understeer through Dunlop and can't quite capitalise it as much as he can as well. Sumo on the back of Ghost. Bossy still trying to make up the ground on the Renault as well. Big lock up through Degma 2. He's going to be on the gravel once again, and he's going to lose the position to Vardy, who moves up into P9. So Bossy making a load of mistakes in these early stages of the race. Not what you want to be making in the sprint races, but Scott looks like he's recollected himself and looking to make the move back on Miriles, who is holding on pretty well, holding his nerve as best he can. ERS situation for Scott is looking pretty good, so we can definitely use a little bit more as Balix has opened the gap to up to about 2.5 seconds out to the nearest competitor. So it looks like for the fight for P2 we've got Miriles, Scott and Ted, as well as Aces versus Kings looking there once these guys start battling. Ted looking to the inside potentially if any of these open themselves up on the inside, and Miriles and Scott, he'll have DRS, so will Ted. P3 is not where you want to be. Miriles to the inside. Scott looking, he's in the slipstream. He's going to pull out late round the outside of turn 1. Is he going to swoop round the outside? A brilliant move then if he can make it stick. Miriles then having to concede. Is he going to be left vulnerable to Ted as Warren sets a fast lap of a 130.4? He is down to P10, so still in the points then and doing well as Bossy is into the pit, so potentially picked up a little bit of damage or just going for an early pit stop. But Scott with a great move around the outside of T1 then, and Ted looking to get past Miriles. Looks like the dirty air is really affecting the drivers through the S's. He can't quite get the power down through Dunlop that he wants, and coming into the Degner as well, can't quite take it as fast as he wants, looking to just try not to get a lockup. Davila though on the back of Aces versus Kings, and we go on to him, and he's round wide at the Degner 2, and he's going to be left vulnerable to Sumo if he doesn't recollect himself quickly. Sumo then in the lovely sounding Renault car as it downshifts there, but on the back of Davila looking to get that P6 position. Ghost as well behind him with only 4 laps of 13 in this race, not long left, of course is the nature of these 25% races. And Ted looking to get past Miriles for the podium places. The Red Bull looking pretty quick, just hasn't got the ERS he needs, whereas Miriles has quite a lot, and as Scott is looking to chase after the race leader of Balix, then he definitely could be looking interesting towards the end of the race if Balix makes a couple of mistakes. Very easy to do here at Suzuka. Is very punishing for mistakes, not a lot of runoff though, and Ted looking all over the back of this Williams then, as he just can't get the run out of the chicane he needs. He's going to have DRS though, not a lot of ERS to use though, so he's not going to have quite the closing speed that Scott did, but it's still very fast. The closing speed of about 20 kph is going to go down the inside of Suzuka's turn 1, and he can't quite make it stick. It is very difficult to do, and you can see the vortices off the rear wing of the Williams there, but nearly making the move up into P3 did Ted, but he's going to struggle to get the dirty air. There's a Scott off, Scott's off at this S's, and he's going to be plummeting down the order. He's going to be left vulnerable to his teammate Sumo, and he made a mistake through the S's, must have just got a bit caught up on the grass then, and he is going to be plummeting, and he's going to need to recollect himself very quickly and chase after the people he once drove up to and got past rather easily. But Ted and Miriles then, this is the fight for P2 as Balix has opened up a 4.2 second lead here on lap 5, and Scott is still on the back of Aces versus Kings, and he's still in sight of the guys in front of him, so it's not all over from just yet. He's still got a nice buttload of ERS to be using then, and so he still could really collect himself and get back in front. Miriles quite wide at Spoon then, and not the run he wants to be making as brake disc glowing, so he must be struggling with brake temps, but Scott has got the speed. He's proven that to speed, he's proven that, and he's going to be looking to make up some ground. He's only a second behind Aces versus Kings. Has he got enough ERS? He's got 70% ERS compared to Aces versus Kings, and Aces versus King, no, Ted into the pit, so he's going to go for an early undercut pit stop and look to get in front of Miriles with the strategy. Vardy with a 5-second penalty speed in the pit lane, so not what he needs, especially in these shorter sprint races. But Scott only 7 attempts behind Aces versus Kings, trying not to make the same mistake he made again, and coming through the S's then and trying to get back onto the podium. Bossy with a 30.4 on the medium. Scott once again making a mistake at Dunlop. He's clipped his teammate as he tried to save it, and he's round again at Dunlop. Oh no, and just bad to worse for Scott then. As he just recollected himself, he made another mistake, just a buttload of understeer on the gravel, got a bit of oversteer, and then as Sumo was coming around, just clipped the rear end and sent him spinning and spinning. So not the start he wanted to tonight's racing. He looking so good to chase after Balix, the leader, but Sumo then has been released to try and catch Aces versus Kings. But Lauren on the back of the racing point, then the black Mercedes versus the pink Mercedes. Is he going to go down the inside of Spoon? Not quite close enough, looking to perhaps try and find. He's going quite wide through Spoon, trying to get a good exit, pushing him through the exit of Spoon, then and on the run into 130R. He's got a lot less ERS, but he's going to use it all to get this move done. Down the inside, then he goes into 130R. Is he going to take the race line? He's going to claim the race line over Ghost then, who is going to have to tuck into the slipstream, use their ERS potentially to try and get past on this pit straight, unless one of these two pit. Balix and Miriles both are race leaders into the pit lane. Then is either of our two guys going to pit? Ghost pits. Lauren is going to stay out and claim a P2 position. Ghost with a 5-second penalty speed in the pit lane, very easy to do obviously here at Suzuka. Not the kindest pit lane, but Bossy on the back of Davila, the Mercedes, and Haas going to be hopefully duking it out. Davila with almost no ERS to use, and Bossy who is looking very quick on those medium tyres then as they come out just in front of the AlphaTauri of Aces versus Kings then, and Bossy is looking to get past Davila. Lauren inherits the race lead as potentially Sumo comes into the pits. No, Sumo, is that Sumo round? He's round at Dunlop. He pulls back onto the track. The Ferrari's going to have to take evasive action. The McLaren takes evasive action, and just like his teammate, and then he has been sent spinning at Dunlop. Again, we're seeing a lot of drivers make that same mistake up in front, and it is very easy to do. Dunlop is not a very forgiving corner, and both the Renaults have found that out the hard way, but he's managed to recollect himself. Has he made a pit stop already in this race? He hasn't, so he is going to have to come in. He's going to lose out a lot of time then, but Bossy and Davila then on their medium tyres looking to make up some ground. Bossy looking very quick. Can he get past the P7 man of Davila and try and get back in front? Ted as well on the back of Sumo after his mistake. Sumo's still yet to pit though, so that P4 is going to come tumbling down. Palf's doing quite well in a P13 as well. In P13 as well, but Bossy still, as Lauren gets a 5-second penalty when he comes into the pit lane, so not the start he wanted either. A lot of penalties then being dished out, so he's going to have to serve that in the pits. 5-second stop go, and the Mercedes on the back of the Haas then a lot closer then, with a lot more ERS and DRS. It should be a pretty plain sailing move. He doesn't even bother defending the inside. He darts to the inside and comes cleanly past him, soars around the inside and taking the racing line into T1 then and up into P4. Ted on the back of Miriles then, these two duking it out before the pit stops, and he hasn't quite managed to make the undercut work. It is not quite what he planned, but he's definitely a lot closer, getting a bit squirmy through the S section, and Miriles got a lot more ERS to use as well to defend the position, but Ted running all the way to the white line. Bossy as well on the charge for these two, as he is looking very quick on his new medium tyres, but the Williams hanging on for that podium position quite well as well. We've now got 8 viewers in the stream. Welcome to the stream, guys. Welcome to the stream, guys. But yeah, so pretty intense race so far. Miriles and Ted still going at it, but Bossy with these quick medium tyres looking to chase after them and get that net P2 position. Cletus still yet to pit in this race, so he'll be coming in pretty soon, up 10 places, but Balix still leading the charge then. Has Cletus actually come into the pits? I haven't checked. He hasn't come into the pits, so he is He's going to be coming in soon on those 7-lap old soft tyres. Still doing it pretty well though, and going for a fat old overcut. But Bossy on the back of Ted then. Ted, after looking forward for so long, is going to have to be looking in his rearview mirrors. Bossy going fastest again. He seems to only be going quicker. Ted having to be on the back foot then. Instead of looking forward, he's looking backwards, just about hanging in the DRS. That could help him stay in front of Bossy, but with the pace Bossy showing, I don't think it's going to be too easy for the P4 man. Bossy though going really wide, and that's his first mistake. Oh, in the dirty air, he's clipped the wall, and luckily won't be picking up any damage as damage is turned off, but not the mistake he wanted to be making on his charge for the podium. And Ghost as well going off through that final S, and a lot of mistakes being made from our drivers today then as he pulls back rather cautiously on the track. So these S's showing to be very unforgiving. His teammate running really wide at the Dignal 1 as well. Davila picking up some dirt once again as well. Miriles on the back of Cletus, whose tyres must be screaming for help. Mirieles's and Ted's shoulders being taking a lot of weight off them as they had a storming Bossy all over the back of him for ages, but he made the mistake through the S's in the dirty air, very easy to do, and it just bit back at him. The Suzuka circuit biting back once again, but Miriles on the back of Cletus, who still hasn't stopped yet, so this should be a pretty easy move to make. Lauren as well on the back of Vardy further down the field, got a bit less ERS than Vardy in front, but still equal. Lauren all over the dirt as well. We're seeing a lot of gravel being kicked up in front, bit of a lock up as well from Lauren, who is trying to get past Vardy. He's in the DRS, he's got the ERS, he's already deployed it. Is the closing speed going to be enough? Coming down this back straight, almost 200 miles an hour compared to the 88 of Vardy in front. He's not going to be quite enough to get him into T1. He's going to have to sit behind through the S's, warm the tyres up, which isn't going to be nice. He's going to be feeling that turbulent air of the car in front, which is going to lose him a lot of downforce. But through the S's though, he's still pushing him, he's giving it his all, and is going to be trying to get past. Both have a penalty, so both looking to take this position on track. 4 laps to go then, and Lauren and Vardy with the fresher tyres. Lauren with the fresher tyres over Vardy, and is looking to make the move, stick 4th gear through Dignal 2 then, as Vardy kicking up the dirt. So Lauren just needs to put the pressure on and show Vardy that they will make the move when it counts, and try and pressurise them into the mistake. That's what you have to do at Suzuka. If you can't get past on the pit straight, you have to make them into a mistake. You have to pressurise them into a mistake. You have to capitalise on any mistake they make. Lauren looking to the inside of Spoon, not quite on this occasion. Going to have to sit back, use the ERS on this back straight, coming onto the run into 130. I've got 10 people watching, guys. Welcome to the stream. If you are enjoying, do make sure you like the stream, and give me some race predictions. Who you think is the driver of the day? Lauren up the inside though into 130. I'm going to claim the outside line. Vardy with a very tricky outside line. It's not really going to work. Lauren though with less ERS is going to be left vulnerable potentially for a counter attack from Vardy, who has gotten the power down nicely. He's got ERS and DRS. Is it going to be enough? Aces versus Kings up in front, so Vardy is going to storm around the outside, and Lauren with no ERS to defend with is going to be re-overtaken. All that hard work undone up in P6, so he's going to have to be sitting back and trying to recharge his battery. So once he does get past, he has got the ERS to defend with. Aces versus Kings on the back of Davila and Vardy not too far behind. We could see a 4-car train. Lauren and Vardy could definitely work together to try and get into the DRS of this train up in front. Balix and Miriles both pulling away, and Balix with a 4.5 second lead. Lauren pushing Vardy through the Degners, and Vardy just now into the DRS of this car train in the front for the P4 position. Davila as well, not too far behind Ted, so we could see a massive DRS train happening from 3rd all the way down to 7th. Scott a bit far back. Bossy on the back of Scott though, after trying to recollect himself after the mistake, fighting for the podium places, trying to get back on Scott. Lauren as well and Vardy working together nicely to get onto this DRS train. Davila's lost Ted a little bit through Spoon. Aces versus Kings with no ERS to defend with, neither has Davila. These two struggling. Vardy and Lauren. Lauren going up the inside into 130R. They're not working together. He wants this position to chase after him, but he's not got the DRS to defend with. Vardy squeezing him all the way to the outside. There's contact and Lauren's around. After Vardy hanging around the outside, Lauren squeezed all the way to the gravel and has been spun around there with a lot of contact under braking. Vardy just giving him the squeeze a bit too much. He's going to lose out to the DRS he worked so hard for on Aces versus Kings. Aces versus Kings trying to get to Davila. These two with no ERS, so it is just going to have to be driver skill and DRS that pulls them in front. We've still got a lap and a half to go, and there's a McLaren round. Is that Balix, our race leader, round? No. Looks like to just be his teammate Callum, who's been making mistakes through this entire race. Ted back into the DRS range of Davila, and Aces versus Kings on the back of him as well. Vardy 2.5 seconds back after the contact with Lauren. Bossy on the back of Scott as well for P8. Callum just letting everyone through. Doesn't want to get in the way, but Scott running wide at Dunlop, nearly a catastrophic mistake to make. Bossy, who has been showing a lot of pace, not so much consistency, as he made a mistake earlier in the race, but 5/10, he can't get the pill out of Degnatui. He needs to have a run into the hairpin. He's going to be on the back foot then, he's going to send it under brakes, try and close it up as much as he can, clip a late apex and get a good exit off the corner then. 10 people watching, welcome to the stream, guys. If you are enjoying, do like, but 20% ERS compared to the 17% of Scott. It is going to be tricky to make the move stick and defend it. Neither of these two got the ERS to defend. Scott on the back of Vardy though, who seemed to have let Lauren through, it seems. Let Lauren through after that contact. So good sportsmanship shown by Vardy there, who is low on fuel. He is literally running on 0.000 of fuel, as well as Aces versus Kings on the back of Davila then with the DRS and ERS. He hasn't got much ERS to use, but neither is Davila. Coming down the pit straight then, Davila to the inside. He's going to white line it as much as he can. Aces versus Kings going to be forced to the outside. He comes back, so he's not going to be close enough on this occasion, but he's going to have to push him through turn 1 and 2 and just sit behind through the S. Is not going to be what he needs. His tyres are going to warm up quite a lot in the dirty turbulent air, but Aces versus Kings looking pretty decent to take this P4 position if he can get in front. Davila with a lovely number 19 car on his Haas there, love to see it, but Aces versus Kings all over the back of him. It could come down to a mistake. We're on the final lap now, and Balix's lead has been dropped down to 2.8 by Miriles, who's looking pretty quick then in this late stage of the race. Battle for P4 though, and Aces versus Kings is 4/10 back on the P4 man of Davila. He just needs to get that extra bit of speed. He's charged up a battery a little bit more, and Davila's low on fuel. He is in low fuel mode. He is saving. So this could be where Aces versus Kings pounces, and Ted isn't too far in front as well. This could be a battle for the podium potentially if these two play their cards right, and Ted makes a little bit of a mistake. But Davila low on fuel. He's going to be in fuel saving mode and looking to just get his way to the line. Aces versus Kings then, he's got no fuel either, so no overtake. Everyone just running it so fine to the line then, and it's going to be close to see if anyone makes it to the line, let alone racing for position. But Aces versus Kings all over the back of him into the bus stop chicane. He's looking to the outside, Davila defends to the inside, takes the racing line, bit of contact nearly, he's pushing him through the final chicane. Across the line goes Balix to win. Miriles second, Ted third, but across the line Davila's going to hold on brilliantly to take P4, followed by Aces versus Kings. Lauren after a pretty good race as well in P6. Vardy coming across the line into P9 after penalties. Sumo as well, still coming through 130 yard cleaters, and Paus doing a pretty good job, and a lot of penalties being dished out for unserved penalties during the pit stops. But Sumo across the line to finish out just outside the points in P11, followed by Cletus, who ran a pretty good first stint, but the time he lost he couldn't gain it back with the laps to go. Paus across the line then as well in the Haas to finish P13, Tier in P14 in the Alfa Romeo. But a pretty good first race then. Let me know your thoughts if you are watching the stream. Let me know your thoughts then. But Balix leading the way with P1, Miriles P2, Ted P3, hold on quite well for the final podium position. Very close finishing as well from our drivers. Davila P4, Aces versus Kings P5, Bossy P6, Scott P7 after his early mistake, Lauren P8 after penalties, Vardy P8, P9 after penalties, Ghost P10, Sumo P11, Cletus P12, Paus in P13, Tier in P14, and Callum in P15. So a good first race, and we'll be going to the reverse grid in Mexico next up for the final race of the evening. So fastest lap going to Bossy as well, with a 29.5, as he was on a very resurgent comeback on those medium tyres. He set very fast laps. Cheers, Fiesta, mate. Appreciate that. I hope you are enjoying the stream. So we've just got a little short break, and then we'll be going to the reverse grid at Monaco, which is going to be pretty good. So we've just got a little break, and we'll be going to the reverse grid, and hopefully we get a couple more people watching for the great reverse grid race. So that will be the winner of the last race will be starting last, second last, third last, etc, etc. So we've got a pretty good race on our hands. So they are just sorting the grid out. Of course, there's no reverse grid option on the F1 game, so they're going to have to custom grid and go through it individually. So it is going to take a little while, so we've got a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather, go make a cup of tea, and get ready for the reverse grid race, guys. So if you are interested in watching the race from a POV, good mate of mine, APPF1, is streaming the race over on his channel, so do make sure you go check it out and give it a like and watch. Well, it looks like we are ready up now, so getting ready for what will be a pretty chaotic reverse grid race. So getting ready to start then for another 25% reverse grid race. Twinings, really? Twinings? Come on. Twinings is... I'm not the biggest fan of Twinings, to be honest. Find it too icky. Anything posher than Tetley or PG Tips I don't really like. But you know, tea is tea, so you're all welcome. Of course, getting ready for the APPF1 sprint race, reverse grid, and getting ready. But just waiting for everyone to ready up then, and we'll get going. Hopefully the lights don't you know, surprise me, because last race they did. Thank you, Fiesta. Twinings is just ugh. No way. How do we all make tea? What order? So you've got to put the tea bag in first. You've got to put the water in. Squeeze the tea bag. Take the tea bag out. Put the milk in. Then the sugar. That's the only correct way to do it. Any other way is wrong. Here's Moosey with her weird ways, yeah, definitely Mark. But getting ready for the lights then. We'll get the telemetry up, and it looks like they've got a formation lap this one, so giving me a bit of time to breathe. I'm getting ready to breathe, getting ready to wrap the first bit of the race, as Pal's put it. We'll get the interval up, and we'll get the tyres up. So Tyr, Lauren, Aces and Baddocks will whop them for the medium tyre. 18 laps around this Mexico Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, I'm pretty sure it is. A pretty nice circuit. Turn 1, 2 and 3 on the first lap is going to be pretty carnage though. Is going to be pretty carnage. So I hope you're ready, especially with the fast guys towards the back. Starry on pole position, followed by Callum, Tyr P3, Paus in P4, starting well. Teabag, water, then milk, unless you make it in a teapot. Okay, Moosey, I agree with you there. I agree with you there. Twinings I don't agree, but the way you make the tea. But do you take the tea bag out before you put the milk in? That's the question. But the predicted pit stop strategy: soft to medium or soft to hard. As we get ready to go racing. So we've got a reverse grid sprint race here at Mexico, and we're talking about how we make tea. Love to see it. Where was I? Cletus P5, Sumo P6, Ghost P7, Vardy P8, Lauren P9, Scott P10, Bossy P11, Aces P12, Dabbler P13. 5 minutes? 5 minutes is cold by then. You give it a stir around for a minute and a half, you know, keep dunking it, squeeze it, and then put it in the bin. 5 minutes, bloody hell. Right, so they're coming around the last bit of the grid now anyway, so we're going to get started to, Good Moosey, good Moosey. Teabag out before the milk. Lead mentally assessing, yeah, I do agree there, Mark. So everyone lining up on the grid now. Serious faces on, guys. We're getting ready for a reverse grid race. So hope they all got their tyres warmed up. So I hope everyone's getting ready to go. Brother interrupting there. Bloody poor timing. Let's tell him to get out pretty quickly there. But as we go to the lights then, getting ready for 18 laps of the Mexico circuit. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 lights. And it is lights out and away we go. Very quick start then, and underway. Looks like the Alfa Romeo's got a pretty good start as he comes for the lead straight away, coming in to this long dash into T1 then, and it looks like Baddocks is just trying to hold back and make the most of any carnage that does happen. They're going to be 5 abreast coming into turn 1 then. Starry's going to lead the way. The McLaren down the inside is going to lock up, cut the grass, and the Haas around the outside. Powell's trying to make moves early and having to just back out there to try and preserve his race in the early stages. The Renault off there as well. Starry preserves the lead for the time being then, as Palfs is under pressure in the podium places from the Alpha, and the Renault is looking to make the move on the Renault up in front, takes the racing line, and the Force India Racing Point down the inside as well, having to back out there. Baddocks up a few places further back as well, up into P13. The Renault around the outside then, making the most of the carnage and up into P4 already in this race. Pal's on the back of the Renault then, and the Force India under pressure. Force India Racing Point under pressure from his teammate, and an AlphaTauri coming in to the fast S sections. A McLaren of Baddocks having to cut the track there to avoid any contact. Everyone coming so bunched up as well. Looks like Ted is looking to Boss is looking to make a move down the inside into the stadium section. The AlphaTauri is going to leave him to dry around the outside, send it back up the inside into the stadium section. It's going to be side by side, still very difficult to do, as Ace is going to get a nice little cutback, very nicely done then, and into the penultimate corner. He's going to claim that position, but is the Mercedes going to get a nice cutback? Ted with a lovely double cutback as well onto the first lap. So Ted leads the way, no, Starry leads the way off the lap 1, leading the way in the Ferrari. Palps as well, trying to make a move further back. Looks like we're having another grid glitch. Looks like there's a couple of people going side by side further back. I can't see it though because the grid's all messed up. Looks like Tier, who is apparently in P1, but he's definitely not. We're just going to wait for the grid to reset. Looks like it's done so. No, it hasn't. It certainly definitely hasn't. So we're going to be missing out on a bit of action. How's Balix doing? He's trying to close down on P11. Mirielez then having a pretty good start as well. Palf's off though at the second chicane. He's going to be coming back on just in front of Mirielez. So not the start he wanted. Sumo up into P3 made his work pretty easy for him. Then a pretty chaotic start to this Mexican Grand Prix. Vardy on the back of Tier, having to go a bit wide at the first S. Very easy to do, of course. So hopefully we don't see too many people picking up penalties, and as they chuck it through this fast section of the circuit, and people trying to make up some positions early, of course, in the reverse grid race. Callum though with a pretty good start, he's already in front of Starry then. 8 tenths is the gap as we come on to lap 3. Only 2 DRS detection points here at the Rodriguez circuit, 1 for the 2 for the back straight. So we've got 1 down here, lap 1 to lap 3. So DRS is going to be enabled this lap. Ghost, that's the fastest lap of an 18.3. Pretty good pace in these early stages. Then Ted looking to get in front of Vardy, as DRS trains are pretty prominent here at the Mexico circuit. But a massive lock up from Vardy. He has one to go really deep, and that's not going to give him the run onto the straight he needs to get in front of P5, which he's been chasing after, but he's going to leave him vulnerable to Ted, who is looking pretty quick as well. He's going to go to the inside early. It's going to be the outside for the start of the corner. He's not going to get the run he needs. He's going to need to set up a nice little cutback into the double apex right-hander. He's going to get a nice cutback. Vardy runs a little bit wide, so it's not going to be what he needs. Pushing him through, there's Ted. He's going to be behind him into the S section, which he doesn't want to be doing. Palps under pressure from the 2 race leaders from the last race, so he's looking to try and hold on to that, or just play it safe and let them through. Let them do the dirty work for him. Great racecraft shown there if he does decide to do that. Of course, they're only 4th race on wheel, so he's still learning. He's doing very well to be only a second off his controller pace already. Lauren though on the back of this little DRS train, trying to pick up the final points place. Still got 15 laps to go, and the DRS has been enabled, so we could see some moves done, like Mirielez on Palps and Ghost here. Bit sideways, Ted bit sideways as well. He's going to be falling down. Who is that? Who was it sideways? It was Sumo sideways. So he, with a really poor run, is going to be eaten up by Ron. So Ghost promoted up into P3. Vardy behind as well in P5. Ted looking to get on the back of him as well. Looks like Mirielez down the inside of Palps up into P7. So making those crucial moves early. And Balix needs to get past as soon as he can. Otherwise he's going to be on the back foot to his rival Mirielez, however you pronounce it. We'll just call him the Williams. Looking pretty quick as well. As he looked pretty quick towards the end of that Suzuka race as well. Vardy trying to get past Tier, who didn't show the greatest pace in Suzuka, but he's still in P4 with 4 laps in here at the Mexico circuit. He's trying to chase down Ghost for the podium places. Starry still hanging in to Callum with the DRS, chucking it in to the S section as well. Ted still looking to chase after Vardy. He's into DRS section, DRS zone. Sumo on the back of Balix as well, so it's pretty easy to stay with people. There's yellow flags through sector 2 and 3. Who's round? It's Power as Ghost from the podium places has spun round, and he's going to be eaten up alive. He's going to send one back down the inside of Sumo. Not the greatest thing to do. Sumo leaves him to dry around the outside. He's going to send one up the inside on Audacious Send. There's going to be contact. They're going to be 3 wide with Lauren trying to get past as well. These guys is not going to work. The other Mercedes looking to get past as well. So it looks like Bossy's going to make the most of this calamity and get up the inside. Lauren, not the greatest thinking there from the guys. Audacious sends into that corner, just don't work. You're going to get turned into. Luckily they all managed to make it through cleanly. Bossy then with an amazing opportunistic move, then soars around the outside as well. Sumo being left to dry. Ghost as well making up some ground. Is Lauren going to be up the inside again into turn 1? There's going to be a bit of contact. This has been turned into. It's very difficult to do. Send one up the inside of turn 1, and she's been spun round once again. So not the greatest run of overtakes for Lauren. Really chaotic during that section. Then Vardy has overtaken Tier into P4. Ted as well trying to get involved. Mirielez as well on the back of this. Has Balix fallen a bit behind. He's behind Palf still, so he needs to get past as soon as possible. Otherwise it is going to be Miriles, who soars in front. Still, the gap's the leader though. What is it? He's 5 seconds behind the leader, so he's still got 13 laps, 14 laps to go in this race, and so far it still hasn't calmed down. So very chaotic first few laps of this race. Ted still trying to get past Tier. What? I don't know why I tried to say that with an accent. It's just Tier. Got a bit of PTSD from hearing the word Tier from Boris Johnson if you still live in the UK. But Tier and Ted getting really close, pushing him through the final corner. Then he's going to give him a bump wide. He's going to tap the wall. Ted, that's going to give him a run on the exit, and Tier is just going to concede that position. Not the greatest. Not the nicest thing to do from Ted, to force him wide and take the position, but that could also leave Miriles on the attacking foot to overtake Tier. Up the inside he goes. He's making these crucial moves to stay ahead, getting really deep into turn 1, managing to get it stopped though, and he's going to be in the DRS of Ted. Can he get this move done? He's got more DRS, he's got a lot more ERS to use as well, coming into the fast couple of chicanes as well. So very chaotic start. Starry still on the back of Callum, not quite being able to close the gap up as much as he needs. Miriles on the back as well. House falling behind Bossy and Balix, who's made the move finally, running a little bit wide coming out the chicane though, and he's going to be chasing after Tier, who is looking to be falling back after the start of the first reverse grid race. But Callum and Starry then leading the way. They're showing pretty good pace so far. But Miriles as well starting to struggle a little bit through the S section. Tier as though he's managed to start with him, but Balix a little bit further behind. Bossy as well, who's showing good pace, looking to get into that P7 position. These faster guys still at the back then, not cutting the way through the field as efficiently as they perhaps would have liked. They've got equal number of DRS. Balix going a little bit wide. That's going to leave him vulnerable on the exit and give Bossy the front foot coming into this DRS straight. He's going to get a bit of a tank stuff though, and he's going to come into the pits early then, potentially force some medium tyres to carry them to the end. So he is the first of the drivers to pit. It worked last time until he spun. There's also a is that a Renault round? It's a Haas round, Palf's round coming into the pit lane. So as he tried to come into the pit lane, just couldn't get the power down as efficiently as he would have wanted. So he's going to be spun round as well after a promising start from Palf's. He's going to be back down on the back foot for the remainder of the race. Still got 7 people watching, so I hope you guys are enjoying. Tier still in the DRS of Miriles. He hasn't quite managed to drop him, and Ted has gotten a little bit more in front of Miriles as well. Very, very chaotic couple of laps then. So now I've got 10 people watching. Welcome to the chat, guys. I hope you do enjoy. Liam, welcome to the stream, my man. Hope you are doing alright. There's yellow flags. Is that Palf's coming out of the pits? I think it is. But Vardy then, after a pretty good couple of laps, is eating away at the gap. Tridden, not being able to breathe just at the moment. So, purple. I'm purple. But Vardy on the back of Starry then for this P2 position. This is probably where we'll see the first round of pit stops come in. Vardy comes into the pits to go for an undercut then on Starry. It's not being proven to be the best, and Ted sends it into the pit lane into the back of Vardy then. Pretty chaotic there, but 3 people into the pits then. Miriles into the pits as well. Balix stays out for track position. He's going to be under pressure from Ghost, who is looking quick. He can't come into the pits because it'd be a double stack, but he's going to soar down the inside of him into turn 1 then. Is Balix going to keep it around the outside? He's going to stick his nose in for turn 2. He's going to have to back out though, and a wise move there for Balix, who yeah, that wouldn't have worked. He just got turned into there. Aces versus Kings, getting a bit of a squabble with the Renault as well for the P6 position. None of these guys have pit. Lauren on the back as well. He's going to be going to the outside of the Renault. Hopefully this goes a little bit better than last time. He's going to be turning in, and a lot of contact between these guys. Down the inside goes Lauren on Sumo, and he's going to be looking to get past Aces versus Kings. And not a lot of space being left on the outside for these drivers tonight, but Lauren, with some pretty good pace, is going to be chasing after the AlphaTauri. Balix is trying to stay with GG Ghost, who's looking to get past Tier and Starry, but Scott opted in for the hard compound tyre, not confident in the mediums to get him all the way to the end then, so he's going to be opting for the harder, slower compound tyres for the remainder of the race. Still 11 laps to go as Starry finally comes into the pit, so it'll be interesting to see who was it? It was Vardy fighting for that position. Ghost comes into the pits. Balix stays out an extra lap. Obviously with those medium tyres he can go a lot longer, and he'll be opting for the soft compound at the end of the race, so we have a quick last stint and last dash to the finish, which could definitely work in his favour. Ted in the slipstream and DRS of Vardy. Was he there at the detection point? No. So he's going to have to be on the back foot. He's going to have to wait a while for DRS. No, he has got DRS. He's set a purple sector in Sector 3. He's got no ERS to use though, and Vardy has managed to make the undercut work on Starry as he comes out of the pits and up into P7. So great move there from Vardy, great strategical thinking, and he's got a buttload of ERS to use as well. So he's in the clear air. He's going to be chasing after the net race leader of Callum, who led coming into the pits. The rest of the field still yet to pit though, and Lauren on the back of Aces versus Kings. These medium runners battling is not what they want to be doing. They need to just get their heads down and try and get the overcut to work over the soft runners. But Tier leads the way. Balix within a second, so he's going to have DRS when they come down the pit straight. 5 seconds back is Lauren to Balix and Tier, but he's got a bit of a different battle on his mind. They've got equal number of ERS to use. DRS then coming down into the stadium section. Not that effective. He's not going to be close enough on this particular occasion. Coming in to the stadium section then, a lot of Mexican fans usually cheering on for Sergio Perez. Obviously very passionate people. A bit of a tap then from Lauren. He looks to the inside again, not the move he wants to be making. Coming through the stadium section. The moves there don't really work. It's more just single file. But Balix and Tier both come into the pits then, ready to go for their soft stint. But Lauren and Aces then inherit the on-track race lead. And Callum is going to get the jump on all of them up into P3. But remember, Balix is going to be on those softer compound tyres. Bossy with another fastest lap. He looks to be pretty pacey in these middle stages of the race. That undercut clearly working out for him. Then he's managed to get in front and up into P6, 3 tenths behind Ted, coming into the second part of the DRS track. Who's that round? Is that Pulse again? No, it's the racing point of Ghost, who can't quite get the power down as efficiently as he wanted to. There's a Renault as well, and Davila under pressure. But up in front once again, Bossy and Ted still having a bit of a battle. He's going to go for a cutback coming out the double apex right hand. He's got a nice exit. He's going to be on the outside for the first part of the S's. It's not going to quite work unless he's going to send it around the outside. He's given them the space, and that's an amazing move around the outside then from Bossy, who just soars around the outside of Ted, and he's going to be under pressure from Starry, who has got a penalty and cuts the first part of that S. But Ted could potentially go for a move back up the inside into the stadium section with DRS. He's not got a lot of ERS to use. Of course, ERS harvested by the heat energy of the brakes. Obviously kinetic energy to turn into heat energy, which then is turned into electrical energy to charge a battery, which powers a motor that gives the cars about an extra 140 brake horsepower. He hasn't got a lot of that extra 140 brake horsepower left to use. He's in the DRS though, which has proved to be quite useful. Both use an overtake as well as they can. There's yellow flags as well as that Mercedes round. I don't know who that is round. It's whoever it is, I couldn't see, but Bossy managed to make that move, hold on for the time being, but he's going to have another look with DRS as well. Mirialez as well, trying to get involved on this battle as well. Ted still having to look behind Bossy, but Bossy on a charge then, as Aces versus Kings and Lauren still haven't pit yet. Callum, who has pit for the medium tyres, has already driven up to the back of him with his fresher tyres, so he is looking good to take a win here at the Mexico. Obviously sacrificing the Suzuka race to take a pretty good second race. He's all over the back of Lauren, closing speed so much quicker through that S section there, and Lauren is going to be forced to concede the position. There's no way he's going to be able to hang around the outside. He goes a little bit wide though, so Lauren has got a bit of a cutback. It's going to be an audacious move to send it around the outside, especially with the tyre grip he's got. He's not going to be able to look up the inside, and Callum retakes that position as Lauren is definitely struggling with the tyres. Balix looking around the outside of Tier into the stadium section. Nice move there, as he is looking to chase after his previous rival of Mirialez, who maybe made a couple of mistakes. Lauren and Aces both into the pits finally then, and has that decision cost him. They're not going to have a lot of time to make this time up. Ted, with practically no ERS, has been completely dropped by Bossy, who is chasing after Vardy and Callum. Very quick on these medium tyres then is Bossy. Vardy and Callum leading the way. Then Vardy also trying to chase after Callum. He's got a lot of good pace as well, as he's shown in the early stages of the race. Balix all over the back of Mirialez. Then he's in DRS, and overtake button deployed. He's going to go to the outside. The Williams on the inside. He's going to defend as well as he can. It's going to be inside for the next part of the corner if he can hold it. The Williams is going to set up a cutback Tier up the inside potentially. It's going to be a 3-car train, but it looks like Balix round the outside is going to make that move stick unless Mirialez gets to get a good run. Tier as well trying to get involved on the back of these two. We've also got Starry as well in the Ferrari looking to get in front. Lauren and the Renault having a bit of a tussle. Renaults and Lauren do not go together quite well, we've learned in tonight's races, but Lauren squeezing the way through and getting up into P11 after pitting. So they're going to be really quick with their soft compound tyres, but they're not going to have a lot of time to make the most of him. Mirielez under pressure from Tyr into the stadium section then, and he's going to be around the outside. He's going to have to give him the room. Is he going to force him to the outside? He's going to have to cut the track, and Mirielez claims the racing line, and Tyr is going to be potentially under pressure from Starry, who hasn't got a lot of fuel to use, but he's got ERS as well as DRS. So Tyr not got the DRS to use, potentially a mechanical problem there on the car of the Alfa Romeo, so he's going to be under pressure from Starry coming into turn 1 then, and the Ferrari, despite the lack of engine speed, is going to soar up the inside of the Alfa Romeo, who looks to just hang him to dry around the outside. He's going to leave him the room on the inside just about enough to go too wide there, and Starry makes the move off a vulnerable Tyr and up into P7. Ted looking to trace after Bossy after these two had a bit of a tussle earlier on in the race. Aces vs Kings on the back of Ghost then, and looking to claim that P9 position. No time to breathe in this race then. Absolutely no chance. Everyone's been battling all down the field, but Ghost gets a bit of a shaky start. It's going to give Aces a good move around the outside, and he's going to gate that position pretty much for free with his fresh soft compound tyres as he looks to chase after the rest of the field then. And Balix on the back of Ted after his late pit stop. He's on 2-lap old soft tyres compared to the 4-lap old medium tyres of Ted up in front, so potentially could be a pretty easy move to make. He's got a bit more ERS to use as well as DRS, so up into P4 could Balix go. He's got 5 laps to go and only 2.5 seconds up in front to Bossy, so he could still claim another podium after winning the previous race in Suzuka. He's in the DRS and he's got ERS deployed. He's going to go for the move. Ted doesn't defend the inside. He potentially is confident around the outside, or he's just going to concede that position. Balix takes the position then over Ted. He's looking up the inside again, but Balix is just going to force him out and give him nowhere to go. So Balix then on his soft compound tyres is on a charge. He's got, what, 7 seconds to the leader. That is a lot to ask, but Balix has shown very good speed and a lot of pace in this stage of the race, especially in last race as well. Starry looking to try and hang on here, but he's not quite got the speed. Mirielez then on the medium tyre just can't compete with the soft runners, but doing a pretty good job then in P6. Looks like the race has calmed down just a little bit then, as there's the biggest gaps we've seen all race, which is only about 1.5 seconds, 2 seconds. So let me know your thoughts on the race so far. Very chaotic and hasn't really given me a chance to breathe whatsoever, but with 14 laps of 18 in the race, and looks like Balix is going to be trying to chase down Bossy for the final podium position, and let's see if he's made up any time on the leader. He's made about 6 tenths up on the leader in the couple of corners, so potentially if he gets a couple of good laps in, he can go for it. But Tyr on the back of Mirielez then on his soft compound tyres. Mirielez just left to try. Looks like Palps is round once again, and coming out the second part of the double apex hairpin. Lauren also on the back of the Racing Point, as well as Starry and Aces vs Kings going side by side. Aces vs Kings soaring around the outside and going to take the race line. Tyr on the back of Mirielez and looking to the inside. It's not going to work. He's going to get turned in on, but he's got DRS and a bit of ERS to use as well. He's not got the exit he needs. Mirielez trying to hang on then on the medium tyres. He's only got a few laps to do so. Let's have a look at the leader. He's gained about 1 second and a bit in since the last time we checked, and Mirielez hanging on for dear life, and as Tyr is all over the back of him with these fresh compound tyres. Vardy with a 3-second time penalty, so Bossy is going to inherit that P2 position if he can't get if Vardy can't get out of that 3-second range. Tyr also on the back of Mirielez. We'll cut back to this battle, and Mirielez has gone really well. He's got a massive tank slapper, so Tyr is going to soar around the outside and take that position. Ace versus Kings as well. He's going to be left vulnerable to as well on the soft compound tyres. Mirielez really struggling in these later stages of the race. We've only got a few laps to go. Lauren being forced out wide and is going to be overtaken. Up the inside it goes on Starry. Not the best move to make. There's going to be a bit of wheel tapping. Starry back up the inside. There's going to be a bit of wheel rubbing again, and Lauren very aggressive then to try and make up for lost ground. Aces versus Kings in DRS and with ERS as well can potentially make a move on Mirielez coming into turn 1. He hasn't got the DRS of Tyr up in front, so Tyr, Aces versus Kings going to go around the outside. Mirielez looking to get up the inside, but can't quite do so on this occasion. So Aces versus Kings looking pretty quick in his AlphaTauri, then chasing after Tyr, who is also looking pretty quick, the leader. So his 4.5 seconds is the gap to the leader. He's also got 2 cars to negotiate as well, but with those soft tyres he can definitely do it. Balix with the pace he has is looking pretty good. But Ace vs Kings as well. Balix closed down the gap to Bossy to about 1.2 seconds now. Ace vs Kings on the back. Callum still leading the way though. 1.4 seconds is the gap. Vardy's still trying to close up. He's also got to get an extra 3 seconds due to his penalty. And Ace vs King in the DRS. Coming into the stadium section, not close enough on this occasion. Lauren close enough, definitely though, with the closing speed. Is he going to go down the inside into the stadium section? Not quite on this occasion though. So going to have to hold station for the time being. Ace versus Kings then looking good, coming out the final corner. He's going to have a good look at Tier into turn 1. Balix into the DRS of Bossy as well. But Ace vs Kings up the inside of Tier, who's looking pretty vulnerable. Ace versus Kings into the lead into P6 on this race, and looking on a charge for Ted, who seems to be struggling on his medium tyres as well. GG Ghost, and Lauren's round again. Lauren is round again and is going to be re-overtaken by Starry, who is going to just go around the outside. He's not going to be given any space. Lauren just trying to not lose any more ground and be out of the points, just trying to be aggressive there. Starry's going to give the position back, and Lauren and Ghost once again going side by side. Lauren the worst off once again, but Balix still trying to get back into that DRS of Bossy. He hasn't been able to make do of that so far. We're on to the penultimate lap, so the next time round will be your final lap, as Callum still leads the way. Callum still leads the way, coming on to the final lap then. Callum, 1 second is the gap to Vardy, 1 second is the gap to Bossy, all in the DRS, so it could be a close fight still. Balix not closing as much as he can. Aces versus Kings on the back of Ted onto the final lap is still all to play for. 5th place is still to play for. P3 is still to play for. Bossy all over the back of Vardy then, who should be looking backwards more than forwards. He has got a penalty though, so he's going to lose that position regardless, as well to Balix, who will be promoted onto the podium. Not quite in the DRS to get involved in this battle though. Vardy still looking backwards though, and Bossy does not want to take any risks, as he knows he will get the position from penalties. I know he wants to get the position on track, but if he goes for a move and spins himself out, it's not going to look good on him. Cheers Mark, appreciate it mate, you too. Hope you have a good night, rest of your night and rest of your week. But Bossy as well looking to make a claim for P2 on this final lap, getting a bit shaky, and Balix on the back, he's looking a bit shaky as well. The rear end stepping out a lot there, and Ted and Ace vs Kings. Tier has been given a 3-second time penalty on the final lap as well, which could promote Mirielez into P7, but he's just fallen out of that P7 range and isn't looking good. But coming across the line and through the final couple of corners, if he can keep it clean, Callum will be your race winner then from pole. He comes across the line to win in the Mexican Grand Prix, followed by Vardy and Bossy and Balix, who claims that P3 position. Vardy falling from 2nd to 4th. Aces versus Kings coming across the line then to take 5th, Ted 6th, Tier 7th, Mirielez coming across the line to take 8th, Ghost in P9, Lauren in P10 after pretty shaky race from his part. Starry across the line to take P11, Sumo in P12 coming across the line. Scott, his teammate, right behind him in Renault fashion. Starry falling down the grid because of the penalties. Davlo doing a bit of donuts through the stadium section just before he comes across the line, and I don't think Lauren is too happy with the race tonight. But Davlo across the line, finished P14. Cletus and Palf still to cross the line. Palf still within 6 cents, so if he goes for a send, could take the second last position off him and not finish last. Someone has to finish last, coming through the final corner, pushing him through, and coming across the line. Looks like Cletus is going to hang on at Palf's across the line. Cletus 15 and Palf's 16. So after a great night of racing at Suzuka and here at Mexico, pretty good racing, very, very intense, especially in that second race. I didn't get a moment to breathe. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I have now got spag bowl for tea. I'm going to go make myself a proper tea, not Twinings tea, because we all know how bad Twinings are. I'm going to make it properly as well. But yeah, so after a good night of racing, Callum is your race winner, Bossy in P2, Balix P3, Vardy P4, Aces vs Kings in P5, Ted in P6, Tier P7, Mirielez P8, Ghost P9, Lauren at P10, Sumo P11, Scott in P12, Starry P13, Dabler P14, Cletus P15, and rounding off the grid P16 is Palf. GG lads, thanks for the comments relay. Yeah, cheers Fiesta, you too mate. But yeah, so a great night of racing from everyone then. Good battles up and down the field, and definitely get me my money's worth of racing there. So it's been a pleasure to commentate, guys. I've been Zach, and if you haven't been enjoying the stream, do make sure to like it as well. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys so much for the support. The APPF1 community is very supportive of my commentary, so I can't thank you guys enough. But it's been me, and this has been APPF1. Thank you guys so much for watching.